In this video, we will be adding error handling to our Tic Tac Toe game, which we have been building from the last two videos, and we will be writing such a program which is going to find the winners of the game, such as, for example, if if some player won, then how did he won? Right? So did he won diagonally, vertically, or diagonally? So we will be doing that, and then finally we will be wrapping up our tic tac toe game. Let's begin. Hello all, my name is Rahman and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video guys, we will be adding error handling code to our tic-tac-toe game which we have been building from the last two videos, and we will be determining the winners of the game. So you might be thinking, why am I finding that winners of the game? After this point, we are not able to play this game. Then how do you do that? So I will do that later on. So how do you find the winners of the game? So for example, let's say that there are two players playing this game. Okay, there are two players playing this game. But if one player won this game, then what happens is I wanted to know that how did he won the game? Did he won the game horizontally, diagonally, or vertically? For example, let's say that he won the game diagonally. How? I want to if here is the one, if here is the one, and here also is one, then this is one. And if a player one won the game diagonally, then I want to know that player one won the game diagonally. I know that we are not able to play this game. We will be doing that later on, but first of all, we will be doing that this one. But before that, I want to say this guys, that you might be thinking, why am I adding the error handling uh, code to our tic-tac-toe game, right? And the reason is that, for example, let's say that there are two players playing this game. Okay, now what happens is, if a user who is not a programmer, who is not a coder, so what he does, he is going to play the game. He's going to give the I wanted to play the first player. The second time he's going to give I wanted to play the second player. But what will happen for the third time? He might give one or two if he is a programmer. But if he is not a programmer and he want to test that, what he will do? He's going to give the zero. He is going to give the 0 or 5 or 3. So he's going to do like that. At that time, our game is going to throw the errors, right? So if you are a programmer, then you might understand why am I getting these kinds of errors. But when the person is not a coder or a programmer, then he will be confused, like, why am I getting this one, right? So we are going to handle. We will see that you have given something wrong, something like that, etc. So first of all, let's add the code for error handling. How do we do that? First of all, as you can see here, we have in the last video we have created this function called as def, right? And here, as you can see here, I'm going to type here the try, okay? And no, I don't want to type this one. Here we have the try. Now in this video guys, I'm going to use something called as try and except. I'm going to talk about this first of all later on. But here we are going to use something called as function called as try. Now here we are getting the errors. The reason is that we have to, this is the indent error, so we have to press the tab. Now there is going to go for the print, which it didn't went for the try. And the reason is that here we have to use the except when we are using here the try, right? So it's going to work like this. Okay, accept and wait, yeah. Now I'm going to get this kind of things. Now what happens is, what this try does is, when I use here try, it means that it's going to try this Python program. It's going to check that. After that, if it is working in this case, then it's going to use that. In this case, we can also use here if statements, but using the try is, I think, enhancing for me. So we are using the except index error as e, except exception as e. You might be thinking, how did I written this code? I didn't return this code. I didn't copy or paste this code here. There is something called as Codium, an extension for the Visual Studio Code. It's also an IDE, integrated development environment. So I'm not sponsoring this one. I'm saying that because it's very helpful for the beginners. Okay, I don't want to write. For example, I was writing this code only, but it just give me the suggestion and I press the tab and it's coming something like this. So here we have something called as accept index error as E. I wanted to write something like this. Now I'm going to get here the error that as I said that if there are two players and if I give fifth player I wanted to play, then I'm going to get the errors, right? But that's why we are going to get two types of error. One is exception, the second is index error, right? So what I've done is I have given something called as except. Okay, if it is not working, then you have to give here the except, and then we have the index error as E. Okay, we are calling this as E, and then we are printing that error. Make sure that you input row column as 0 1 or 2, or you can give here, or okay, let's give here this slash itself. Okay, now it automatically return this one. After that, except exception as is something went very wrong or something went wrong, we can give. We can do this type of things. But what I will be doing is now I'm going to run this program. You might be thinking you're going to get some type of output. Yeah, we are going to get, but not the thing such as something went very wrong, because right now we are not playing this game. But when we actually play this game, when we actually write the code for actually playing this game, at that time, if we do some kind of error, then we are going to get error. Make sure you input row, you enter, let's give enter row column as 0 1 2. Something went very wrong. If it's not working, then we are going to get something like this. So now guys, let's determine the winner of this game. Okay, if someone won the game diagonally, horizontally, or vertically, right? So what I will be doing is I will be commenting out all of this code. Okay, because what I have to do is I'm going to write separate code for the horizontal winning, vertical winning, and diagonal winning. I will be writing them at a place, but I'm not going to combine this right now. At the end I will be optimizing that code, and then I will be adding this to our, we are going to bring all of the things together with this code. Okay, now in this case, let's comment it out. I'm going to select all and give the triple quotes. Now it's going to work like this. Let's come down. Now here, what I will be doing is I will be copying something called as game board, and I will be pasting that here. Okay, so we have something called as game board right now. We have right now. I'm going to write the code for winning. So for that, I will be creating something called as def function. I'm going to give def win. I'm just going to give, and yeah, it's going to be like this. I don't want like this. Okay, let's use here itself. And the reason that I'm creating here is def is in this win, I'm going to add two things. The first one is the code for horizontal winning. The second is for vertical winning. The third is for diagonal winning. Okay, so I will be arranging the of later on, but I will be creating this function called as def win. Now I will be using here something called as parameters called as current game, but I'm going to type here the press here the tab. But as you can see here, I'm getting here, right? I'm getting it code. Actually, as you can see here, def all same. I don't want this one, but I just want is this one. Okay. Now here, what we are getting here, if all same, and the reason is that from the time you're having something called as all the same function, right? But we are going to type this in another way. I'm going to make this one into another way. Okay. So anyhow, I didn't picture this code again. I just got the suggestion that I should press the tab and it's going to automatically write the code for us. Now this code is for horizontal winning. This code is for horizontal winning. Now you might be thinking how can I optimize this one? Okay, so here we have the for the horizontal we are using here something called as for row in game board. So we are going to call the row, right? So these are the sorry, these are the rows. These are the rows. Sorry, this one is row, this one is row, and this one is row. These are the columns, right? You know that. But we are calling here the row again. After that, in the if statement, I'm going to, what happens is, wait, as you can see here, we have written the code for this one. But what I will do is, in case of using here if statements here, what if I write this function? We don't need this function def all same. We can use here also, right? So what I will be doing is I will be removing this one and I will be using here because we have to write a lot more code. Now in the place of all say till the end, we don't need it. And now you have the if. I'm going to give row dot count row. I'm getting again the suggestions because of the extension. Now here we have row, if row count row equal to length row, and so that's this is what the code that I wanted to write. Now I'm not getting any errors, right? Now here at the end we have the return true, which is not necessary according to me. Anyhow, we have the print player on this horizontally, and then I wanted to format this in a row, something like that. But one more thing that we can do here is we can use here something called as F. Now, what it does is, wait, we don't, in this case, we have to use something called as this one, have to give it the row, okay, and here I have to give something called as 0. Now we are not going to get any options. Now what we are doing is we are using here, we are saying that we have to give the row name, and then we are saying that if it is a 0, then whoever whoever the player is, then we have to give he won, then he won the game horizontally. Okay, so it's simple, right? We can also give like row like this, and we can remove this one format row. In place of this one I have just given this one, okay, and then I have used here the f. I will be talking about why I have used here the f. And then we have for the vertical winning. How do we do for the vertical winning, right? It's pretty much simple. We have the for column in range, and then we have the length in the game board. So here we have the game board, but I wanted to give here the 0. And one more thing that I want to do is I want to change here, and that is I'm going to give 1, 2, and 1. I'm going to give, okay, and then I will be giving 2, 2, and 1, 2, 2, 2. Okay, so here it's spinning the horizontally or diagonally, vertically or horizontally. Now in the vertical, what we have this 0, zeroth column, right? And then at the end we are checking this one, and then we are giving here the for loop for row in game board, for row in game board, and then we have to check it. Second check dot append, we are doing that. But we have to add, I want to add here the if statement, right? If it is check dot count, again I got the suggestion. I wanted to print in the brackets, yeah, F player check 0 1 vertically. It's going to work something like this. Print F player check won the game vertically. So it's going to work something like this. So this is the code for the vertical winning, and this is the code for the horizontal winning. So it's pretty much simple. One more thing that we can do is I want to comment this out for some time. For some time. Okay, and let's go somewhere down here. Now, in this case, what I will be doing is I can copy this one again. I can copy this one, and so I can copy this one and paste it here. One more thing that we can do is, if in this case, if I got print, we can create a function and say that in this case we got at this column, at this place, if we got like this, if we got like this, if we got in this cases, if I got, I should get. We can use that with the if statement, but it's going to be pretty much bigger code, right? So I'm doing that here in the efficient manner. Now, anyhow, let's remove this comment that we have given here right now. Now it's going to work like this. Now let's run the program. Let's see, is it actually working or not. Now you're not getting anything, right? And the reason is that we didn't use something called as win game. If you see here in the previous code game board, what we have done, we have given something called as game, the function name, right? So here also we have to give here the function name, that is win, and then in the brackets I have to give here the game board. Now it's going to work. Let's see. So player 2 won the game vertically. Vertically, it won the game. But if I change this one, in place of this one 0, run it. Let's see what the output that we are going to get. We didn't got anything because no one won. Okay, now if I give here something called as 1, yeah, player 1 won horizontally. We are getting here itself. Okay, now one more thing is, let's do for the diagonally. Let's see, are we getting anything? Wait, 1 1 one, and now let's run the program. We didn't got anything, right? And the reason is that we have not written the code specifically for the diagonal winning. I will be writing code for that right now, but here what we have to do is in the diagonal winning there is some type of complexity, okay, for the beginners. So here we are winning the game diagonally. The complexity is if we can win this in this case, for example, we can win in this like this also, right? We can win the diagonal like this. It's also diagonal. So in two ways you can win the game, but we have to find out that if we win the game in this way, then he win diagonally. If he win like this, then he also win diagonally. So we want that one. Okay. So we have to write the code for that also right now. Now guys, for writing the code diagonally, for writing the code for winning the diagonally, for determining that, what I will be doing is I will be commenting out a line, okay, and I will be giving here something called as diagonal. Now, as I said you that we have to win in two ways. One is this way and the second is this way, right? So what I will be doing is I'm going to give like this, okay, and then at the end below this one, I wanted to give here something called as dags, which is going to be diagonal, DIAGS. Okay, so I've just given as dags for this one. So this is a list that I'm going to use here right now. So anyhow, we have now I'm getting here some of the options for. I'm not going to write all of this code because again it's going to waste some more time. So what I will be doing is I will be just pressing tab so that it's going to automatically write the code. Now as you can see here, we have written the code for dax, which is going to be the diagonal, and then afterwards we have something called as for idx, which is going to be the index, and then we have the reverse index, and then in enumerate. Now you know that what is the use of enumerate. After that we have something called as reversed. So we are going to find that reversed, right? For example, here if you see, we have to win diagonally. So each line we are going to find it, we are going to find like this, let's see, and we have to go reversely like this, like this, like this, right? That's why we have given reversed and then range and game board, okay, that we are going to use. And then again we have something called as dags.append game board again. And wait, okay, so we have the idx and reverse idx, which I already created here. After that we are using here the if statements. Right now guys, you might be thinking, why I'm not using here the else, right? And the reason is that if while using here the if, using else is not necessary. Okay, if you want to use, you can use it. If you don't want, you can't use it. You don't use it. Okay, so it's depending on you whether you want to use the if else or not while using the if. Anyhow, at the end we have the if. And then you have the if dax.count, and you have given the zero, which is this one. And as you can see here, dax.append, what it does is when you want to create a variable like lists and use the append, now what this append is going to do is it's going to fill whatever we have written that later on, right? So that we don't need to go each time and fill that. I can give here something called as etc etc etc, but for writing, for changing each and every time, I have given here something called as append. Whatever changes here, it's going to change in the DAX. Okay, and then we are giving here double equal to. Now, in the double equal to means it's equal to. Okay, for when you are defining something, like if we are defining here dot, we are defining like this. Okay, and then we have something called as player F DAX has won diagonally. Now, what I want to do is I want to give here which way we are winning here. Okay, I want to give here something like this. This way the player has won the game, or we can use this one. Wait, we can use this one only. Okay, after that, what I want to do is I want to find the how which player won the game diagonally again, like this one. Okay, but first of all, guys, let's run the program. It's going to take some time for running. As you can see, we didn't got any output, right? Now we have diagonally, they are going to win in this case, right? So in this case I will be using here one. Wait, I want to use into two. Okay, now let's run the program and check whether it's working. Yeah, as you can see here, player one won the game diagonally. So anyhow, let's keep it like this. We will be changing that later on because we have to use here, we have to find that for the second diagonally, right? I'm going to give like this again. It's just giving me the suggestions. Same thing you have to do, or what I'm doing is I will be just copying and this one and pasting that here itself. Okay. Now this program is something different from this one, so that's why we have to change something in this one. Now what I will be giving is I will be giving like this. Okay, and I wanted to remove this if statements, not this one. These things are not necessary for here because we are going to write this in another way, right? As you can see here, for ix index in range len input, we have the bag append. So you know that what is the use of append right now. Now what I will doing is I will be running this program. It's running, as you can see here, clear one diagonally, but we have to test like this whether it is working or not properly, right? So for that I will be removing this zero. I'll be giving it 0, in this case 1, and run it. As you can see a player 1 won diagonally. In this case we are winning like this, right? So it's going to work like this. Now we know how to write the code for winning diagonally, vertically, horizontally, all of those kind of stuff. But now the problem is how do we combine all of this stuff with this code, right? With this something called as game board, with our actual code where we have done the error handling, and we have given here where we are actually writing the code, right? So how do we do that there? Now I will be doing that in another tutorial. So that's all for this video. Thank you all for watching this video, and I will see you all in another tutorial. Thanks for watching and goodbye.